This is AQA GCSE Chemistry. It's the final part of the periodic table topic, and this video relates to people taking triple science only. So if you're taking dual award, you will not need to know about this. As always, I'm going to recommend that you pause as you go, have a go at the activities, or at least think about the activities to then double check your confidence, knowledge, and understanding within the topic. So in this one, we need to know the properties of transition metals, and we need to know how that compares with group 1. And I'm going to go on to talk a little bit more about some of the other key facts about transition metals that we will come back to revisit later in the course. In the first instance, this is about asking where the transition metals are. And if you've had to think about that, hopefully you recognise that it's this narrow section in the middle, scandium across to zinc and down. So the transition metals, that's where we'll find them. Lots of very familiar metal names in there. We've got gold, we've got silver, we've got iron, we've got chromium, we've got mercury. All of these that we are very familiar with. Moving on, a few questions for you to try. And this is taking us back to key stage 3, but it's important to think about it in the context of how this also compares to group 1 metals as well. So transition metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. We know that. Let's think about using gold or copper in wires, and they're both examples of transition metals. They are hard and they are strong. So we compare that to what you may have seen with group 1, which you can cut through relatively easily with a knife, certainly potassium and sodium. Metals here, things like iron, things like titanium, that are used in construction because of their hardness, because of their durability. They have got high densities. Now, that means that they will sink in water. Again, let's compare and contrast that to group 1. Lithium, sodium, potassium will all float on water as they react. And the melting points generally for these metals are very high. We don't tend to see liquid metal. One that does stand out as an exception to that is mercury, which is a liquid at room temperature. And a couple of facts just to finish off here that will become important later on, but we will introduce them now. Transition metals are often used as catalysts, and they do form coloured compounds. Take the example of copper sulfate with a really vivid blue colour that I'm sure you'll recognise. That takes us to the end of this video and the end of this topic. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.